Here's number 4 of our conversation with Joseph Williams of Toto. I'm John Beaudin from Rocky Stream Music. But someone had asked, how did you get in? What was you left the industry and you're working in a hotel industry, and then you get back into music. What was the catalyst for you to, like when your TV career, for instance?
Well, the main steps when I decided that I wanted to go, try my hand at that, is I went to, was lucky enough to have a friend, and at that time my brother-in-law, he was married to my sister, a guy named Jay Gruska, who was a TV composer and family member, who produced my very first solo album back in 1981, and is also a wonderful singer and a songwriter. But he became a television composer, and since he became a TV composer like 40 years ago, he's never not had a show that he's worked on. I mean, he's never been a working composer the whole time. And he had a natural skill, and he was one of the first guys that knew how to use computer sequencers as an aid to get your score written, and then add actual musicians on top of it, before all of the sequencing software got as sophisticated as it is now. Jay was very, very good at that. He was in the early stages of that kind of scoring. And I went and I sat with him and I just said, what do I do? And he suggested like what kind of gear I should get, that I should start with. Start me very simple. And then my wife at the time, who I'm still married to 29 years, put me in touch with somebody who was a friend of an old assistant that she used to work with, who was making low budget films, and that was how I got my first thing, was a low budget film, and then it went from there. And then I met a composer who was working on TV show who needed some help, and then I worked for him, and then it snowballed.
Someone had asked, are you going to be working with your brother again?
Absolutely. I was with him yesterday, and he's kind of in the process of updating his whole studio scene right now, and the answer is absolutely.
How'd you meet your wife?
I met my wife, and by the way, we've been actually kind of apart for many, many years. Our kids are grown, but we're still the best of friends, and actually still married. My wife and I met at a club in LA called Cafe Largo, and I was singing background vocals in a band for Katie Seagal, the actress Katie Seagal, who's also an old friend, and she's a great singer. And I was a background singer in her band. We were playing there that night, and Amy was performing by herself that night, playing guitar and singing her original songs, on a stool. And she was amazing. She was mesmerizing. And her manager at the time was Gene Simmons. And so in the room was Gene Simmons and his entourage, Amy. So Amy watched our performance where I was singing backgrounds with Katie Seagal. We stuck around. I watched Amy. We met, we talked, and that was how we met.
Was it there right away for you?
Kind of.
Yeah.